So I guess during the course of that time, from 11 till now, the way that I've trained has changed. The way that I look at recovery has changed. The way that I want to look at, making sure my body stays healthy long term. Like if I knew that my body would break down because of what I'm doing now, in say 10 or 15 years, I wouldn't do it. Like I wouldn't compete. I wouldn't train as hard as what I am if that was the case.
Right.
But I feel like I feel a lot fitter, a lot fresher. My recovery is faster now than it is when I was 21, just because of the way that I feel like I approach my recovery and approach my training. And I guess it's just maturity, looking at the bigger picture, knowing when it's a good idea to, just push through, because you do need to do that. Like if you want to go to the games, you got to push through some shit. Like you got to push through sore body. You got to push through squatting, back to back to back. Sometimes you have to do that. You've got to do that stuff, but then also knowing how much working in do I need to do to combat my working out. And if you don't get it right, and you're burning yourself from, maybe a career standpoint, you're burning yourself from a relationship standpoint, and you're burning yourself from a competing standpoint, your bucket gets overflowed and you won't be able to bounce back from that, and you'll burn yourself out, and you might end up with glandular or chronic fatigue or adrenal fatigue. And I think at some points in time I've been fairly close to getting there, but never enough to tip me over the edge. I've always sort of taken a step back right before that's come to it.
Yeah.
But now I kind of understand where my balance is, and like I can push myself really hard now, and I can do a lot of training, get a lot of volume in, but I also know ways that make me calm down and help me find parasympathetic as much as possible whenever I'm not sympathetically training.
But it's like if you're the beginning when you didn't qualify is because you weren't doing enough, and then you were doing enough but you weren't recovering enough.
Totally.
And now it's just like you kind of found like
sweet spot.
But it probably in 2 years you'll say something else and it'll be another approach, and you're just optimizing, right?
Totally. And I think if you don't adapt and innovate and evolve the way you do things, you'll, like with your business, you'll be left doing the things that people were doing 10 years ago, and we've improved on that. So I feel like it's constant improvement and constant evolution, and who knows what I'll be doing in the next 5 years. Like I'll keep training and competing as long as it makes me happy. Right. And the instant I, dread doing it and dread competing, or I don't want to do it, or I'm dragging my feet. Like I know there's points in time where I've dragged my feet because you need to, and I take that on board. But when it just doesn't, basically when I quit football, and football was my life at that particular time, I'd been doing it for 8 or 9 years, and my goal was to make it to a professional level. And I woke up one day and I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. I just knew I didn't want to do it. So I think when I get to that point, there'll be something that'll change, and I'll understand that, okay, I'm not meant to do it anymore. But at the moment, I love training. I really do love it wholeheartedly, enjoy it. I love the recovery just as much as the training. I love jumping in my float tank. I love jumping in the sauna. I love making sure that I'm eating well and fueling my body well. I like breathing. I enjoy thoroughly stretching. So
yeah, I heard you talk about you connecting with Brian McKenzie for some breathing and stuff.
Yep. So I teed up. I connected with Brian in 2016.
Oh, really?
Right before the games. Like it was literally 2 weeks before the games. I met Brian for the first time. I'd only heard of him in passing. And he was in the gym and he was doing some work with Annie, Thora's daughter. And where I was training, which was down in Costa Mesa, leading into the games, I asked, who's that? And then it's like, it's Brian McKenzie. And it's just like, it's Power Speed Endurance. And I said g'day, and he was just chatting to me about how I'm getting ready for the games. And I said, yeah, really good. And he's like, do you like ice bath and sauna? I was like, I love them. Then I started talking about the float tank, and then he's like, come to my house. So I went to his house. We did some contrast therapy. We did some saunaing, some hot and colds along with my girlfriend Kayla. And we got connected after that. And then he basically, I added in protocols that he was giving me to my training, and added them as either a way to improve like CO2 tolerance, during sessions, or ways to improve my breath, my nasal breathing capacity outside of those sessions, and then also during aerobic sessions learn how to control my parasympathetic and keep myself as calm and as relaxed as possible during long aerobic sessions to help improve my aerobic threshold.
Yeah, because he started using that mantra just because he really loved the fact that he had this high intensity in CrossFit, but he wanted to find that without doing the actual work of like a Metcon or like hitting yourself into a wall, and breathing has helped him.
It's helped me immensely. Like we did a program, lasted 6 weeks, and my aerobic and anaerobic thresholds probably went up by somewhere between 12 and 15 beats a minute, like in terms of heart rate. So I could what I was holding, let's just say I was holding, my aerobic threshold was around 130 beats a minute within 6 weeks. When I do programs, I do them very particular, like I'll get everything done that's on the paper. So when he wrote it down, I was doing 4 sessions a week of different breathing styles of training on top of my other program. And it went up to like 145 for my aerobic, something like that. And then also my lactate threshold, my anaerobic threshold went up by like 10 to 12, something like that.
Holy crap.
So it was a big,
massive.
It was a big improvement. And I think like VO2 went from 59 up to like 65, something like that, or 64, around those areas. And that was about an 8 to 10 week block for that one, because that's when I could get the test done at the university. But I was very particular in it, and I was doing a lot more longer aerobic work during those weeks. So like 2 to 3 sessions a week, I'd be on the air bike for like 90 minutes. So I've never done that before. So that type of stuff really helped.
Holy crap. And at the same time, it's like, I don't know if you've ever done like the thing with the...
left and right nostril.
Yeah, I tried that about a couple months ago. I have my left nose, it's a little bit crooked.
Yep.
So everything's just always blocked. But every time I use that in the morning, it's kind of thing that if you do it often, it really works. But totally. When I did it often every morning, I would totally 100% breathe better in workouts. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it does help.
With a guy like Brian, how was he was kind of a specialist for like that area. He's very specific to what he does. Did you ever have other guys like do like specific work with you, like an Olympic lifter or?
Yeah, totally. So I pretty much went and sourced people that were specialists in each area that I think would have helped me be a better athlete, help give me advice and give me training. So we had a local guy to Adelaide. He was Commonwealth Games Olympic lifter, so Max Del Santo. Jordan Steffens, he's a strongman guy. He's local to Adelaide, Australia's strongest man. And I've worked with a guy named Paul. He's helped me with sprinting.
Okay.
He's epic with what he does. Like, he's very particular. He's very technique focused. The sessions aren't super long or anything like that. They're quality sessions. And also like swimming, like I've gone and joined a swimming club, helped me with swimming. I went and did criterium racing on the bike just because I love riding my bike, and I was walking my dogs and I saw a crit race going on and I didn't even know it was there. I was like, I want to go do that. So I went and bought a bike, and I went and started doing those crit races. So there was, areas, and I also really good friends with Shane Perkins. He's one of Australia's fastest sprint cyclists. He also gave me a lot of insight into cycling and power cycling, things like that. So I've been lucky enough to be able to meet a lot of people in specific areas that could help construct a well-rounded approach to my training.
I am chopped and screwed, R.I.P. to Pimp C. You think I was from Texas, but I come from Tennessee. We party all night and we on the Hennessy.